represent the best cases presented at NACRA. So let's go to the first one, the bronze medal. And the winner of the bronze medal for 2020 is Throwback Brewery, Performance Appraisal Decisions to Ring in the New Year by Danielle Clark, Armand Gilinsky, and Allo Gilinsky.
Hi, Danielle. I'm Armand Gilinsky, professor of business at Sonoma State University.
Thanks for coming on to talk about our case. What is that case name and what is it all about?
Well, Danielle, our case is called Throwback Brewery, Performance Appraisal Decisions to Ring in the New Year. And it's about two women entrepreneurs, partners, who started a microbrewery in New Hampshire and expanded that to include a restaurant hospitality facilities. Their primary venture is staffed by part-time and at-will employees. And the question they have and the decision they need to make is, how do we resolve the challenge of retaining and motivating our employees and building a positive culture, given the fact that they are, again, primarily part-time. The question of whether or not we can do that with a formal performance and appraisal system, which we had not had in the past, is on the table. And Danielle, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us, how did it feel to win the CASE award, and what do you think contributed to that award?
Oh, good questions. Thank you. I'm Danielle Clark. I'm a tenured track business instructor at Hillsborough Community College. I'm also a part-time lecturer at Northeastern University. Winning the award, I was of course hoping, and it was such a great experience to hear that we were recognized for the bronze, not only because of the hard work we put in, but because of the founders at Throwback Brewery. It was their time and talents and story that really made this case special. They are in New Hampshire and really passionate about locally sourcing their ingredients, everything from their farm to table meals and their beers. And I think their passion for local and their passion for their employees really helped to get people behind our case, which I'm sure contributed to some pieces to why it won. I also think from a case writing perspective that our case received an award was because there's this beautiful simplicity to it. We didn't overdo the case. We didn't overdo the instructor manual. We put together a thoughtful narrative and direct questions. And so the story really carries the case well.
Right, and I'd like to ask you one more question, Danielle. Who do you think is the ideal audience for this case?
Oh, that's a great question. I really see it in any class that teaches small business management, even an intro to business. But the heart of this case would be beautifully placed in a human resources or organizational behavior course. Early on in the class, as students are trying to understand culture and in performance improvement and trying to figure out the blend between formal and informal policies, which really impacts all areas of business. Armand, so as it relates to our throwback case, there's this really rich behind the scenes story as it relates to how we linked up with the co-founders of Throwback. Can you kind of walk us through your relationship with them and the brewery?
Well, sure, Danielle. And then one of the great challenges for all case writers is finding an appropriate case client subject and an appropriate decision focus. One of the advantages I had was I have a son who works in the craft beer industry, and some years back he was working organizing beer tours in New Hampshire from his base in Boston. And one of the stops on the brewery tour was at Throwback Brewery. And I had a chance to go on a dry run with Allo Gilinsky, my son, to Throwback Brewery about 5 years ago. And the interesting story that the two entrepreneurs who had quit their day jobs in corporate America and started a microbrewery with no experience in running a business and no experience in brewing and no experience in food and event management was quite compelling to me. One of the things that was also made the case really rich was the fact that Allo was willing to go with you, Danielle, and conduct in-person interviews with the two principals as well as staff members of the organization before we actually wrote the case. So we're able to get rich transcript of comments and feelings from about 180-degree perspective. It would have been nice to have a 360 with customers, suppliers, and competitors, but that would have made the case pretty bulky. We decided to keep the focus really narrow.
Yeah, thank you for that. What a trip for me. Thank you again for reaching out and asking to partner. I had never been to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I had never met your son, Allo. And so throughout that journey, I got to meet so many new people, including Nicole and Annette at Throwback and all of the amazing employees there. And it's not only resulted in this fantastic case, but just long-lasting friendships and me understanding an industry that I was not close to. So you and Allo, have this background with breweries and the wine sector, and I didn't. So it was great to know that I could contribute to something that I wasn't an expert in, and that relationship that you guys had built before me coming into the project really helped, because I felt like once Allo and I were on scene, we could just get in there. There wasn't a lot of warm up that needed to happen. They already felt like they could trust us. They did trust us, right? Because Allo was there as a bridge.
And not only, Danielle, were you able to contribute your specialized knowledge of human resource management, but you were also able to sample the fine beers they make at Throwback Brewery. So cheers, and thanks for partnering with me and with Allo to make a wonderful case, we hope, which will be available for widespread dissemination later in the year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Armand. Cheers.